If you've been feeling disoriented, dreamy, less regimented, less interested in forcing productivity, and at the same time imagining a completely different life, you're not losing your discipline. You're entering a Mercury in Pisces rewire. Mercury entered Pisces on February 6, 2026, and will retrograde from February 26 through March 20th, 2026, traveling entirely through Pisces from 9 degrees back to 0 degrees. This is ego softening, nervous system recalibration, and dream revision energy. And let's break this down. Mercury entered Pisces on February 13, 2026. It stations retrograde on February 26, approximately at 9 degrees in Pisces. Then it stations direct on March 20th at 0 degrees Pisces. This entire retrograde happens in Pisces, and that matters. This is not logical Virgo-style review. This is a dissolution review, because Pisces rules the subconscious, collective emotional fields, fantasy and imagination, spiritual vision, fear diffusion, media fog, escapism, and mysticism. So when Mercury, the planet of thinking, perception, and interpretation, moves through Pisces, the mind becomes porous. And when it retrogrades there, well, we revisit the dream. And this is where it gets real. You might notice you're not in your usual regimented flow. Supplements or nutritional items feel optional instead of mandatory. You're less motivated by the I should. You're more drawn to storytelling, fantasy, visualization. You're imagining wealth and freedom and community and scale. And then suddenly fear interrupts it. That's oscillation. That's Pisces. Pisces dissolves the part of you that runs on control. It does not respond to I have to. It responds to resonance. So if you feel less driven by discipline and more pulled towards vision, that's not regression, that's identity softening. And here's the interesting part. You might imagine something huge like, well, what if my business was making $33,000 a month? You feel the freedom, you feel the sovereignty and the lack of the obligation. But then it's crickets. Because when survival anxiety drops, your nervous system asks a different question. Okay, but what do I actually want? Pisces dissolves fantasy illusions. It exposes the difference between ego desire and soul desire. Sometimes when the fog clears, what remains is very simple, very pragmatic, and very human. And that's not small, that's mature. Now let's talk about the shadow layer. Pisces rules collective emotion. So while you're imagining freedom, you might simultaneously think, well, what if the government shuts down? What if things collapse? What if the world destabilizes? Pisces blends timelines. So you feel freedom timeline, and then you feel the collapse timeline at the same time. This is why awareness is everything right now. The question is not which one is real. The question is, which one does my body relax into? This Mercury retrograde in Pisces is preparing us for something much larger, because right after the window, we have the new moon in Aquarius, which is in a solar eclipse, and the historic Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees Aries on February 20th. That's dream meeting structure. But before structure forms, Pisces dissolves the ego attachment to how it must look. This period is not about building, but it's about softening. So during this transit, replace rigid routines with intuitive check-ins. Don't force discipline, invite it. Journal your dreams immediately upon waking. Notice when fear interrupts vision. Reduce your media exposure and avoid irreversible decisions until after March 20th. Let the fog teach you. Confusion is not failure, it's neurological repatterning. If you feel floaty, if you feel less motivated by hustle, if you feel more imaginative and slightly disoriented, you're not off track. You are dissolving into a new identity, and that always feels uncertain before it feels inevitable. Mercury entered Pisces on February 13th. It retrogrades February 26th. It stations direct March 20th. This is the sacred review window. Mercury in Pisces is not here to confuse you. It's here to soften you. And what softens can be reshaped. We've got this, Soul Fam. So much love.